So check out this video. This is by a ufologist by the name of Mike Hengstebeck. And Mike tells some inside stuff. Most of this video is mainly about tall white aliens. So sit back and watch what he has to say. I found this very interesting. And tell me what you think in the comments, and we'll talk about it. So sit back and watch this.
One of the guys that was there talked about buildings being on the dark side of the moon. He was in the Navy. He had a top security clearance. He said that when they brought him in, and he was going to be handling video and film that came back from combat missions. And he goes, he got brought into a room one day. He said, the guy said, "Stay here, wait right here, I'll be right back." And he said, "I hadn't even gotten my clearance yet." And he goes, "So I'm standing in this dark room where they're developing a film, and the guy says, 'Hey man, you want to see something really cool? Come over here.'" So he's like, "Oh, okay." So he goes, "I go over there and check it out." And he starts showing me buildings on the dark side of the moon. And he said to me, "These aren't ours." So this guy can't be lying. I mean, is he? Would he really get up here? Would all 40 of these people have such fantastic stories that you would say, no, this guy's lying? The one guy that talked about 40 different creatures that were coming here, 40 different aliens or 40 different terrestrials, ETs that were coming here. One of the former prime ministers of England said the U.S. has been dealing with a group called the Tall Whites for like the last 15 or 20 years. Mm-hmm. The Tall Whites were a group of very Nordic-looking extraterrestrials, very tall, light hair, just very, very big. Uh-huh. There was some talk that in the early 30s that there was a guy that was basically, his name was Thor, and he was a tall white, and he was working within the Senate and Congress. So if you look him up online and you pull him up, this guy looks like a very tall, Nordic, slack-jawed, just a really good-looking human being, or alien, whatever he is.
Like a Viking.
More like a Viking than anything else.
Like something on the Rumpelmans logo.
So, yeah.
Very cool. I mean, but again, so this, at the
now
time.
I understand.
What?
Yeah, at the time when this guy from Canada came out, he said, "Hey."
I don't know. Look up tall whites now. We're talking about tall whites.
Yeah, the tall whites.
Whatever we're talking about, just try to find
aliens. And they're aliens. But he said that, UFOs were as real as planes that fly over your house. I mean, he said, there's no denying it. They're there. We know they're there, whether the government wants to talk about it. And I think, again, in the bigger picture, that if the planet, let's just say
these are the tall whites.
Elon Musk.
There we go. Others talk about it, but that, see the blonde next to him? That's really kind of what they say they look like right there. Now I see our boy up there at the top. Yeah, right. Go to that one up there. Nope, the next one over. Nope, right there.
Edward Snowden.
Edward Snowden.
Do you think he's a tall white?
So, well, I mean, listen, he's living in Russia right now, and I'm sure they're going to let him stay there as long as he can continue to tell them secrets, because once he runs out of secrets, he's coming back to the U.S.
Yeah.
They're going to send his ass back here. I think this is how it works out. I think each country has found a UFO. And I think that each country is kind of doing what they do to develop that information as quickly as possible. And I think whoever's running the show is kind of watching that, trying to figure out, okay, who's my best student here? Mm-hmm. Who's really the smartest of all the groups?
Do you think it's like an episode of Shark Tank where they're just like waiting for the best investment?
I do. I think there's a couple things going on. And I think we talked about this last time. I think that when you go back and if you look at humanity and how many times we've been wiped off the planet, and you're back on the planet and then wiped off the planet again, and whether this is through natural selection or if it's through the Great Flood or if it's through some sort of virus or disease.
Or meteor.
Whatever it was. Would kill everybody off, and then all of a sudden somehow the Earth would repopulate. And so today, there's more people on the planet today than ever recorded history. Mm-hmm. Why is that? And I think if you look at one thing that has changed more so than anything, it's the way that we develop and cast out from our cars all the carbon dioxide. The planet likes carbon dioxide. The trees like carbon dioxide. Mm-hmm. So I think that we became so good at that's really what they wanted. So I think we're kind of like a bacteria. I don't think it's the same way as if we see a bug on the ground, we kind of look at it and walk over it. Mm-hmm. I think they kind of do the same thing with us. And I think they monitor us, though, to obviously see what the health of us is. You want the bacteria to keep doing what it's doing. Mm-hmm. And I think when you look at kind of the history of mankind, I mean, we live near the water, we overpopulate, we destroy everything. If you look at a good virus or a good, toe fungus, you get, and pretty soon all of a sudden the toe fungus has taken the nail off.